The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Tuesday, the 7th day of October, 2025. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. I'm Jamel Hartman, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in the news break brought to you by Peoples. Happy Tuesday, first day of the traditional work week for us together. I know most of you started on Monday, but hope you all had a wonderful weekend. How did everyone do? Like, did anyone do anything fun? I did what I do. I watched some football and went to a comedy show, and yeah, you know what? I'm going to share this with you. You know how we do joke of the day every night. You know what? We're going to do a joke of the day today. We haven't done one in a while. But anyway, I went to a comedy show, and truth be told, I never enjoyed stand-up comedy when I was growing up. Like, I only started going to stand-up comedy shows during the pandemic. And I know you're like, during the pandemic, everyone was inside. No, I lived in Florida. Florida was a lawless state. So, I had a great appreciation for it, but a particular comedian who's been so inspiring to me during this journey as an entrepreneur is Country Wayne, who I kind of found out about in 2020. And I would watch his skits all the time, and I would read about his story, and it's quite inspirational. And I've seen a comedy special he did, and I was like, okay, I did prefer the skits, but he represented, man. And I've been to a lot of comedy shows, but Atlanta comedy shows, it's like going to a club back in the early 2000s, late 90s. It's not a comedy show. It's a party and laughs, right? So, yeah, Country man, he did it. He did a thing, man. He did a thing. But yeah, that's what I did this weekend. So hopefully you all had a great weekend as well, as fun and happy as me. Suzanne Ingham says, it's a super awesome Tuesday, Jamel and Maya. I missed you. It's been 3 long since I've heard TDH. Welcome back. We appreciate you. We missed you as well, Suzanne. Kenton Trot says, good morning, TDH family. What in the Somerset is going on, Jamel? Well, you know what? It's fall. So getting closer to everyone's favorite time of the year outside of cup match. Just had to, or should I have been wearing like orange? Well, I've got the lights in back of me, orange and yellows, to represent for Candy Day. So, that should do it. All right, folks. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Karl Smith on from Freisenbruch. Folks, it's time to get insured. We're going to be talking, it's financial literacy, the correlation between financial literacy and life and insurance and pensions. So that's a very important conversation. And we've been talking about financial literacy a lot lately. We just had a financial literacy event in Bermuda. So really looking forward to the conversation. And I have a question regarding that later, financial literacy and everyone's education. The daily play is going to be a remember when today. Remember when. All right. So this is fun. This is a fun one, and something I believe every last person in the audience would know about. May not know the answer, but would know about. All right, folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Let's just jump right into the question of the morning. Today is Amazon Prime Day, and we're asking you, how can Bermudian retailers compete with Amazon Prime Day? How can Bermudian retailers compete with Amazon Prime Day? And also, do you participate in Amazon Prime deals? Do you participate in Amazon Prime Day deals? That's your questions. Now, let's go through it. For those who don't know, Amazon Prime Day this October, I think they have it a couple times a year, but this in particular, it drives sales, massive sales globally, right? Millions of deals, free shipping and convenience. It's Bermudians often join the frenzy through freight forwarders of U.S. shipping services, meaning millions of dollars leave the island in just a few days, right? Local retailers honestly just can't match Amazon's scale or pricing. So they have to compete through experience, service, and community connection. So there's some challenges that we have with Amazon Prime Day deals. And I did see, I heard a commercial or saw something that Walmart is also doing deals these 2 days. If I'm not mistaken, I saw something. So Walmart's getting in on this to compete with what they're called, Amazon. I said what they're called. you know what I meant. But I guess another question is, why do Bermudians shop overseas? And we kind of know the answer, right? Price. A lot of people feel, the imported goods on island often cost more due to shipping duty and limited wholesale access, right? Volume, right? I know a lot of Bermudians say that selection, like you have a wider range online, local stores can't stock everything. Convenience, one click versus navigating store hours or smaller inventories. And then perception, many feel shopping locally is automatically more expensive, even when it's not. Even when it's not. There are quite a few things that we've had people on this show come on and say, well, we're selling at U.S. retailer prices or wholesale prices. So that perception is a reality for some, right? But how can Bermuda and retailers compete? Like, what can we do to compete? What can we do to compete? I'm going to throw out some ideas, but I'm open to your ideas as well. But what do you think Bermuda can do to compete with things like Amazon Prime Day deals, folks? What do you think that Bermuda can do? Here are some ideas that I'm going to throw out to you. Maybe we can organize a Bermuda Retail Week or Buy Bermuda Weekend during the same time frame. Like, I know we have a Cyber Monday thing that it's the BDC. Someone does something like that. Someone does something. But maybe we can do, we know Amazon Prime Day is this day. We can work with local retailers and do a Bermuda Retail Week, like we have Restaurant Week, or Buy Bermuda Weekend during the same time frame. That's an idea. Also offer island-wide discounts, flash sales, bundle deals, or loyalty rewards, right? Maybe something like this. And again, I'm not a retailer, I'm gonna be honest. So my ideas are not based on any science or facts about how retailers do. So if you are a retailer, feel free to chime in, but I am a consumer, right? And I know what gets me into, well, not now, I'm broke, but you get my point. I know what would get me through the door. But how about this, audience? How about offering a discount for loyalty reward holders for a specific weekend, or double points? Like, say, if you're a loyalty card holder at my retailer, you get double or triple the points for shopping this weekend. Also, cross promotions. Maybe certain businesses can work together, right? So if you shop at, I'm going to use, if you shop at Medical House and People's during these 2 days, you got points for both, something like that. I don't even know how that would work, but you get my point. How about cross promotions between businesses? I know my ideas may sound weird and crazy, but they're just suggestions, folks. But what do you think? how can Bermudian retailers compete with Amazon Prime Day? And do you, yes or no? Why are you all afraid to let me in your business? Do you compete? And like, I'm saying compete. Do you participate in Amazon Prime Day deals? Like, do you shop on Amazon during Prime Day? Like many people do. I'm not shopping on Amazon Prime Day. For one, honestly, I don't need anything. I'm just being really honest with you. I don't need anything. And I thought about it. Well, hey, my niece is for Christmas. Everybody knows when I'm in Bermuda, I get my Christmas gifts from Peoples. Like, that's not trying to self-promote or promote. That's just what I do. So I don't think there's anything, and my family's never like, oh, well, can you get me this or that or that? Yeah, so I'm not shopping on Amazon Prime Day as of right now. Let me say that, because then someone may send me something and say, hey, Jamal, can you pick this up for me? I saw that. Have you checked Bermuda first? Because if I'm bringing it back, I got to pay that duty. Oh, yeah, I charge my folks for duty, folks. I had a cousin one time. Let me sidetrack. I had a cousin one time ask me to go to GMC. That's what it's called, like the tablet, like where you got your vitamins place. Anyway, he asked me to go GMC for him. Now GMC was gonna mean I had to drive. Then there's taxes on top of what he wanted. Then there's duty. Man, I get back. Oh, brother, want to pay the price that it was, not the taxes, not the gas, not the duty, not the being thanks for doing this fee. I'm just saying, come on now, folks. Come on. There's always a thanks for doing this fee. All right, folks. What are your thoughts, though? We've been through it. It's Amazon Prime Day. What can we do to help Bermudian retailers compete? I'm going to go over one more thing before I go to the audience. I think the government can help support. I know that BDC does some local promotions as well for e-commerce platforms. I believe, I'm pretty sure they do something Cyber Monday, as well as during the holidays, they do something that they'll likely come on and speak about, where you shop at things and places in the zone and you get discounts from competing stores. But maybe the government can offer a tax duty relief or tax breaks during certain periods for things that are, specifically sold during this period for businesses. And maybe the government can actually run the campaign for local retailers, explaining that every dollar spent circulates multiple times in the Bermuda economy, benefits them. Maybe the government needs to drive that home. Maybe. Let's go to the audience. What do you all think? We've got Senator Misha Fabulous says they could supplement instead of compete. There are many here who are unable or unwilling to shop online who they could assist. Absolutely. Especially with an aging population, right? Misha Fabulous says Amazon is pervasive. They have questionable employment practices, so we try to limit our buying with them. He's not lying, but those things are not driven home, right? Those things need to be driven home, Senator. We've got Misha Fablo also says, not necessarily price for me, more selection. I spend significant time research this specific item I want/need, and it's often not stocked here. Got you. Suzanne Ingham says, I'm broke too, Jamal. You aren't alone in being broke. I like your ideas, Jamal. Keep them coming. Yeah, there's some, anyone else with ideas as well, please send them through. Like, how can we compete? How can we compete? And also, be honest, do you participate in Amazon Prime Day? No shit. I just like to know, what kind of things you would buy on Amazon Prime Day. Like, is it based on, like Senator Fabula said, selection? Nicole Walker says, good morning. I've never participated in Prime Days, but I'm ordering today as the items are not available in Bermuda. See, not available. And you don't need to tell us what the item is. It could be very personal, right? But even if the government done a survey of people, did you participate Amazon Prime Day anonymously, and let them know what you purchased? And if it's not something you could find in Bermuda, maybe it can give retailers an opportunity to find whatever that is, right? I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Dr. Anthony Richardson says, create a low import tax zone or zones within the city, allowing the low import tax to be passed on to the consumers. Okay. I don't know how the consumer's going to feel about that, Dr. Anthony Richardson, but I hear you. Suzanne Ingham says, no, I don't. No pennies left to splurge on this. Things I don't need. All right. Let us know, audience. What else? What other ideas? And I just want people to understand why it matters. Why supporting local retailers matters. Every overseas purchase sends money and jobs out of Bermuda. You saw the clip. You watched the show with Minister of Economy and Labor, Jason Hayward. What was it? $400 million? He said that Bermudians spend outside of Bermuda. Did he say that? So we have a role to play. But it matters because supporting local keeps small businesses open. It keeps local businesses open. It preserves employment of your family, friends, and community. And it actually helps strengthen community resilience. But most of all, and hear me when I say this, shopping local builds economic patriotism. And it's a sense that we're all part of Bermuda's present and future. Like, we should feel a sense of pride when purchasing something from a local. That's what we should feel when we do it. Let's go back to the audience again, folks. How can Bermudian retailers compete with Amazon Prime Day? Rhonda Trott says, yes, I participate. I buy the majority of my purchases as of late on Amazon. Can you, if you don't mind, Ms. Rhonda, let us know why. Is it selection? Is it price? Is it convenience? Let us know. Nicholas Butterfield says, I think the customer loyalty programs are a good idea incentive. I'm inclined to shop at places that offer loyalty discounts. Many coffee shops have these in place, i.e. after you buy X amount, get 10th one free or similar. I'm going to be honest with you. I love those kind of programs. I do. Now, United Airlines, I even forgot I had a United Airlines credit card, right? Things been on zero balance. Surprised they ain't shut it down. But my point in saying that, they sent me something because I used it to pay for something last month during my birthday. And they said, oh, spend $10,000 by December 31st and you get $100 gift card. I don't think that's the financial literacy we're going to be talking about with Karl a bit later, folks. Like, come on, spend $10,000 by, man, I guarantee you there's someone out there that's probably would have seen that and been, really? Not a win. All right, we've got Emily Gail Dill says, I use Amazon for selection. I'm not familiar with Amazon Prime Day. Okay. Folks, this is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Those are two local businesses. And I'm going to pressure the Godwins at Titan Express to sell that flag. That will be something that I hope every Bermudian will purchase that's local. You know what flag I'm talking about. The Bermuda, shape of Bermuda on the Pan-African flag. But Secure to local businesses. Well, you can import a truck to do it yourself, so you got to support them, right? Where else? We've got Nicholas Butterfield says, needs more of a push, advertising for local, buying local brands. Shop at places such as Lucky can want to eat. I was going to say her earlier, the sense of pride that I had when I walked out of Lucky with my cookies and sunglasses that my sister took off me, right? But there's a sense of pride shopping local for me. Honestly, it is, knowing that I'm supporting somebody I know. When I worked in Bermuda tourism, that's what being local and working in tourism meant for me. It made me believe that my mom working at this hotel part-time was benefiting. My best friend and uncle who were driving cabs with tourists all the time were benefiting. That's how I looked at it. I was helping feed their families, their children, and that in turn meant my family, So we'll go through these final few comments before we bring Maya in for an extended news break. Don't forget, we've got Karl Smith coming up. We're talking financial literacy. How about that? Amazon Prime Day and financial literacy. What a day. Yeah, but Michelle White says, I'm not an avid shopper, particularly online, because of sizing and return costs. I often get disappointed because my size sells out first when it comes to clothing stock, the sizes of the majority. Dr. Anthony Richardson says, produce regular TV commercials reminding Bermudians about the negative effects from buying overseas rather than in Bermuda. I actually like this idea. I don't know if anyone from government is tuned in, but I'll have to ask Maya when she comes on. But I'm pretty sure Minister Hayward said 400 million in it that we were spending outside. But I don't think a campaign would be a bad thing in terms of reminding people of the benefits of spending locally. Because the more people hear it, the more you drive it down their throats, they start to believe it, I think. Rhonda Trott says it's difficult to rationalize the extreme high cost. I shop for many individuals, Bermudians as well. Most likely they shop Amazon too. Thank you for that. Folks, again, this was your daily discussion brought to you by Titan, Express, and Secure. We're going to take a quick break, give thanks to them, and then we'll get to Maya Palacio for your daily hour news break. Don't forget, we've got Karl Smith, financial literacy. How they correlate with your pensions and life insurance plan.
The daily discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Visit TitanEXBDA.com, your leading tour and transport provider specializing in Black History tours throughout the island. And SecureBDA.com for all your property management, waste management, residential, and commercial trucking needs. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is our commitment to you.
All righty, and let's bring in Maya Palacio for the Daily Hour News Break. Folks, in the meantime, if you are streaming with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, or Instagram, do us a huge favor. Give us a love, a like, follow, share the link with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Help us beat the algorithm as we want to ensure as many Bermudians as you know have access to these most important community conversations as possible.
Good morning. Good morning.
Greetings, MP. How are you?
You know what? I'm feeling pretty good this morning. How about you?
I'm good because I'm not buying anything on Amazon. Well, I'm too broke to buy anything from Amazon Prime, but I don't need anything. You shopping? Do you need anything?
I don't think so. Not at this present moment. I can't really think of anything that I need particularly.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, well, I'm gonna tell you all. So I did. Okay, because Maya's probably gonna rat me out if I don't say it. So I was on Amazon looking at some things yesterday, and I found to like this camera that I can't afford. But then she broke my heart anyway. She's like, yeah, but it's vertical. Yeah. Yeah, but so I looked. I did look. And
you are a browser. You will look.
I did. I window what they call it? Window shopping or something?
Yes, yeah,
I was browse shopping or whatever. And I can't afford it anyway. It's way too expensive. But I was browsing. So I'm gonna put it out there. I was browsing.
Yeah. That's fair enough. I also indulge in the browsing atmosphere. I like to get ideas from things. And like as my mama would say, like if we even out and we're shopping about, she's like, we can make that.
I like that. And then you know what? I have done this. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have done this. I have looked on Amazon and then looked local to see if someone has it and what's nice. And trust me, prices sometimes are only $2 difference, if that. So I have done that.
Yeah, I would agree to that. I think to answer the question this morning about what can businesses do,
Mhm.
in my head, the first thing that came to my mind was have a better social media presence. I don't know, I think I mentioned it here as well on the show, but I think a lot of the younger generations will shop with you
Mhm.
if you're nicer, if you engage more, like if you're just, pleasant. Like I don't think a lot of us, yes, we care about the price, but sometimes it's not always about the price, but the person who's selling it.
Yeah. I don't disagree. And I think that's something that's big that I probably didn't emphasize earlier, Maya. Experience.
Mhm.
People will support a good experience. So
Trust.
yeah.
If you've gotten somebody to trust you, they will keep coming back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like that. I am.
Yeah, solid advice,
Mhm.
trustworthy person.
Yeah.
I come back.
Yeah. It's like my smoothie joint. Like I go back when the nice girls are working. Although the guy hasn't done anything wrong with me, he doesn't wear a hairnet and he has a big beard, so I don't shop. That's my experience is bad because of that. Hygiene.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. That was
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. This is your daily on news break brought to you by the good people at People's Pharmacy. And as we were just talking about this morning, looking for people you can trust, head on to People's that literally have everything you could possibly need or even think that you needed before. So definitely a place to go. I tend to always go there for my niece to shop for, or any of my friends that are like expecting. I think it's the best place to baby shop. Just my personal opinion on the island. All right, so this news is coming to you from the press conference that happened just the other day with the Bermuda Police Service. A lot happened over the weekend, so let's dive into it. Since May of this year, 2025, firearm incidents have resulted in 5 murders and 6 attempted murders. So in 2024, we had 19 confirmed firearm incidents. So that resulted in about 4 fatalities and 9 persons injured. And I say this because it's almost halved. This year has almost half the amount of firearms that we had last year, but it's resulted in more murders. And police have already said this already. And so it shows just the accuracy of how much it has increased.
In 2020, just to give you an example, we had 25 firearms incidents and 2 murders. So if you look at it, it took 25 shootings to arrive at 2 murders. This year, it's taken 10. So this is troubling. A troubling trend highlights the urgency and necessity of our intensified policing approach.
So now, due to the increase in police presence and the stop and searches, as you are well aware of, there have also been a spike in arrests for bladed articles. To date, they have made 80 arrests for bladed articles. Now, to turn it over to the updates on the murder investigations as well that have been like plaguing the island right now, suspects have been murdered in all the cases of this year. And here's your update for you on that.
In terms of the updates in terms of the murder, so 1 man, like I said, charged today for the murder of 37-year-old Janae Miners. 2 men currently remanded in custody, charged with the murder Legends Bar on the 1st of May, and 2 men remain on police bail in relation to the Cool Street murder on the 12th of August.
And lastly, just to close out with that press conference with the police service, clearing up some earlier reports that were made. You may have seen some discussion just going on, floating the island about a report of maybe a shooting occurring in Devonshire. Now, this came from a TNN report that said that residents around the area claimed to have heard gunshots, while the police did clear up that question at the press conference that came from the World Gazette that actually asked about this. So here's the response to that, just to clear up that.
Yes, we received a number of calls as well about these gunshots, and obviously in our due diligence, we went, searched the area both last night and today. We returned for daylight search, but there's no evidence that we can confirm whether or not there were actually shots fired.
Well, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed. All right, so I know we talked a lot right now, and even the past weeks, there have been so much going on in relation to arrests being made, the facilities at Westgate, and there's some more things that you probably should be aware of that are happening right now in correlation with both of those things. There is now a sentencing guidelines committee that has been formed. So the Chief Justice has set up a sentencing guidelines committee chaired by Justice Wolf to draft guidelines for Bermuda. So the group that met on September 30th will start with offenses like drug crimes, causing death while driving, bladed articles, and assaults, with public consultation before anything is adopted. So Governor Andrew Murdoch says the work draws on successful practices abroad with support from US, UK Criminal Justice Report Project. So the guidelines aim to make sentencing more consistent and transparent while keeping judicial discretion. So members come from across the justice system, particularly like judges, magistrates, prosecutors, defense, legal aid, and police court services. But there is one member, Mr. Mark Wade of the Bermuda Football Association, who is a part of this that doesn't necessarily fall under that remit. So the committee will report progress in the new year. So in short, just for a quick explanation, the guidelines explain how courts weigh seriousness and circumstances. So they guide the judges, but they don't set fixed sentences.
Got it. Interesting.
Yeah. Very much so, to be part of that board, or even to have that now be something in place for Bermuda. There's more reports on how it's being done in other Caribbean islands as well. So we're going to lead into that some more and definitely give you the full report when it comes out in the new year. Now, this one, please, everyone, just be very aware of it. We've already stated it before, but we're going to have it up again because locating missing teen, 15-year-old Jador Wilson still remains a top priority for us. The police put out a statement. We urge anyone who may know her whereabouts, to do the right thing and come forward. They did post these photos about 4 days ago as an updated image of what she also looks like, apart from the earlier description. But they also want to stress that keeping a minor from her family, regardless of intention, can be dangerous and may carry legal and emotional consequences. This child's safety is their number one priority. Anyone who is knowingly allowing Jador Wilson to remain hidden, even under the belief that they are helping her, is potentially interfering with a missing persons investigation. Doing so not only puts her at a great risk, but could also result in criminal charges depending on the circumstances. So they're pleading for compassion, responsibility, and action. If you have any information or even a suspicion that Jador Wilson may be in someone's home or care, please do the right thing and immediately contact Detective Inspector Kenton Trott by calling 717-2345. Or you could also call the quick number of 211 or the main police line at 295-0011.
It's been about 3 weeks now, right?
It was the 17th, so yeah, we're traveling in the 2 to 3 week mark. Yeah, it has been some time.
Yeah, and obviously her safety is top priority. And at 15, school, is she healthy, eating? I feel the concern of the community with this. I encourage anyone, if you know anything, please reach out.
Her safety is the number one priority. That's what everyone wants to know. Most particularly her family and her mother that was at the press conference as well a few days ago, maybe a week ago now. I want to lean back into another story that maybe we should all be kind of aware of, or just keeping our mind frame on. You may have remembered that I brought a story about the Nuvium cables, the Google cables that are going to be connected into Bermuda. But here's a short recap of the video that I had presented here on the show a few months back now. But here's a reminder for you all. While there is an increasing demand for data, especially as artificial intelligence and cloud services expand, so Google gets the benefit of using Bermuda to store its data and increase global connection. But what are Bermuda's benefits? And also, what are her worries?
If I want to speak about concerns, my main concern would be that Bermudians being left out of the equation. However, I do believe that Google is trying to be a good corporate citizen, and hopefully once they establish themselves, jobs will be realized, especially with respect to any sort of satellite companies and attendant companies that associate themselves with the Google structure, so to speak.
Google is setting up in a high residential area. And although many at the town hall praised Google for actually coming to speak with the residents of St. David's, it didn't ease everyone's worries.
I am more concerned about the environmental impact, even though it probably is good for Bermuda as far as the technological standpoint, but I don't think enough consideration was given to us who would live directly across from it, and we weren't consulted. All right. You have something to say before I go on?
No, I understand her concern.
Indeed, there was a lot of different concerns. And since I've posted that story months back, we've had the discussion about how much energy that AI is taking up from, like, just across the world globally. So knowing that Google is coming here, knowing that artificial intelligence needs a lot more storage, we're going to be that hub for it in terms of, for the most part, artificial intelligence, but a lot of different things that need all of that space. So that's another reason for this connection, as well as hopefully building more job opportunities, hopefully doing those things that big corporations say that they plan to do when they come here in Bermuda. But one thing I didn't get to show you guys when I first had this story out was what it will look like. Now, I know people are listening over the radio, so I'm going to try to give a good description as well, but also want to focus here on the timeline. So where we're at is coming to the end of 2025. We're going into 2026. So construction should be on the completion, and all the things should be heading into us kind of seeing this already being set up now in St. David's in the site itself. So just giving you a landscape view of the St. David's area right now and how it's going to be nearby access to St. George's Harbor. This is what it looks like. It looks like a warehouse, not very tall, but very long. It's got some green gates that are going around it in a very wide vicinity with some long tails, trying to keep the architecture to look sort of Bermuda as well, so it doesn't quite stand out like a sore thumb. It's yellow. It's in St. David's, so it has that sort of feature to it. But yeah, it's gonna be massively long, not too tall. A lot of tall lights, though, which was also a concern for some of the citizens, as well as how loud is the whole building going to be with all that technology inside it. They're going to try to keep things muffled in as best they can, but this is something that is happening and will be happening around the residents right now.
Cool.
So there's things to be aware of. All right, so closing it out for your news break this morning, we're looking at the weather. So it's going to be a mix of sun and clouds and a chance of a couple of passing showers heading into today as well. And you got a high of 81 degrees.
All right. Thanks for that, Maya. Today, it's a lot of stuff, but we're going to go You Matter to Me Day. So I want to ask everyone out there, who's someone, let's say they're not family. Let's take your family out of it. Outside of your family, who is someone or a group of people who really matter to you? They can't be family. Outside of your family, it's you matter to me today. You will call this person and say, you know what? You matter to me. You thinking, Maya?
That's hard. I feel like I have a lot of people that I would.
But that's why I said group or people, group of people.
Then I'll go to my friends and my mentors. Like those are people that like instantly I will call. Big shout out. I think I'll have to give it to my best friend, Paget, probably like the number one person that I would call for almost anything that's happening in my life. So people that you can like literally tell every single secret, nuance, whatever to, that's so crucial. I think in life, you all need that person that we can just call to be able to say anything to and not be judged for it, and just an open ear to like give you the constructive feedback that you need. Sometimes it's hard to listen to, but it's because coming from a place of love, and you know that. So yeah.
Indeed. Well, Tanya Cheeseman said, my coworkers. Well, I get it. You spend a lot of time with them. I'll be honest with you. They must be some good people, because I've been in some jobs where nobody liked each other. So said her coworkers. Who else? I would have to say, I'm going to follow Maya's lead, coaches, mentors. And I'll say clients. I tell people often when I go into meetings, I remind people, I'm not a charity. We're not a charity. I'm not looking for you to give us anything. I want to know how we can help you. So I would say they matter big time. But also, I think people who I work with in not just as part of like real job, but community stuff that I do. People who are given their time that nobody knows about. Like I have a lot of love, and they mean a lot to me, because they don't understand sometimes the work that they're doing, how it benefits the greater community. So them too. But apparently, Maya, Tanya Cheeseman, you and I, we're the only ones that have people outside of our family that matter to us. But I'll leave it at that. But I got a joke for you before you go. What? I went to a comment. Okay, here we go. I'll make it funny. All right.
Okay.
It's going to be a Halloween joke. I'm going to give you a Halloween joke.
Bet you I've heard it before. Go ahead.
Yeah, you probably have. Maya, audience, why don't skeletons ever go trick-or-treating?
Because they don't have a bone to stand on? I don't know.
Close. Because they have nobody to go with. Get it? They just have nobody.
That was witty. That was clever.
Yeah. Almost got
it. Wasn't ha ha ha, but it was clever.
Almost got it. All right, Maya. You have a wonderful day. We'll get another Halloween joke on Thursday. How about that?
Okay, sure.
Maya Pelosi here, everybody. All right, folks. We're gonna take a quick break. We're coming back. We've got Karl Smith. We're getting short, folks. We're talking about financial literacy today as it relates to your pension and life insurance. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few. Stick with us.
Take a look at our workforce for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Pair with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear. You can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
At HSBC, how we do business in our community is as important to us as what we do for our community.
We are here at Hungry Bay with HSBC today. We're planted over 500 mangroves using 2 different methods. This work is very vital for our mangrove ecosystem and would not be possible without HSBC's generous support.
I am super happy that we have a team here of colleagues helping us replant some of the mangroves. Mangroves are critical for preserving coastal nature, and with recent hurricanes they have been taken away by waves. By replanting them, we are really helping nature be at its best.
Thank you so much for HSBC for sponsoring the Microforest Project, but by extension, the Hungry Bay Restoration Project.
Thank you to all of the charities, corporate partners, and HSBC volunteers for your commitment to our community.
SCARS stands for Saving Children and Revealing Secrets, and we are a Bermuda nonprofit organization whose mission is to reduce the risk of child sexual abuse and to be an advocate and a voice for children who've been sexually molested, as well as their affected family. New media like the Daily Hour is really important in partnering with organizations like SCARS. It's another platform for us for awareness. There can be no radio silence as it relates to child sexual abuse, and we need as many initiatives as we can get. We need to keep this message alive. In terms of us and the work that we do, live engagement is good because it allows the audience to ask questions, to make comments, even to provide us with encouragement and support. What I love about the live engagement when SCARS is being interviewed by Jamel is just this feeling of safety, this feeling that he gets it. He cares about children. It's a connection.
Welcome back to The Big Show. Jamal Hartman here. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. Folks, do not forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Folks, if you haven't already, whatever platform you may be streaming on, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, or Instagram, take this moment to give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Let's give a warm TDH welcome to our very special guest for the day. It's Get Insured. Welcome back, Karl Smith. We're talking financial literacy, pensions, life insurance plans, retirement. Karl, welcome.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for
Happy.
having me again.
Thank you for coming back. You know, some people don't like us. Nope, I'm not coming back. You guys too. Nope, we're not doing it. But no, thank you. Before we jump into it, right? I gotta get into you emotionally, man. The audience was kind of shy just now when we asked. I think the day is called it's called You Matter to Me Day, right? Who outside of your family, who are some people or a person who matters to you?
Wow. You know, as I reflect on that question when you asked it earlier, there are so many people that I've found that are important to my life in regards to what I do on a daily basis. Like, to be honest, when Mr. Freisenbruch brought me here, he brought me here on the pretense of educating Bermudians. So for me, is my customers, as you said, and educating individuals the importance of financial planning. So everyone I meet is talking to them about, do you understand finances? Are you looking to help yourself in regards to that? Because one of the things that I find that is a little bit lacking around the world, and especially in the Caribbean itself, Bermuda is not really the Caribbean, but falls into the Caribbean, is that a lot of us do not know enough about financial literacy.
Yeah.
So for me, one of my goals is always to give back and educate individuals in regards to that piece. So getting out, helping people, talking to people brings joy to me, and it's part of what is important to me with individuals.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And you made me rethink something, because I say it often, but what Karl's basically saying is everyone he serves matters to him. And I think that includes you, the audience. You matter to him, because for him, it's about educating and helping people. And so in saying that, you all matter to me as well. All right. Seriously. Karl, let's jump into it, though. Financial literacy has been a topic. And I want to ask the audience real quickly. Audience, if you can answer this question while this conversation is taking place. During your schooling, did you ever take any school courses on financial literacy? Like, did you ever take any courses on financial literacy while you were in school? We're talking primary and high school. Did you ever take any financial literacy courses? But Karl, why is understanding your pension such an essential part of being financially literate in Bermuda?
I would say it comes down to the fact that we have actually here in Bermuda what is called a defined contribution plan. And pretty much what that means is that you're responsible for your pension and how it is invested and how it performs. So one of the things that I have found so far is that a lot of people do not look at their statements, don't understand it. And what is important, doesn't understand how they can manage it to fit into their financial goals.
And I recently, you spoke at an event and you were quoted in the Royal Gazette. You warned against assuming government deficits would allow the state to guarantee retirement. Speak to us a bit more about that.
When I mentioned that in that comment, in that scenario, what I was referring to was, as everyone talked about Social Security and if it's going to be there for you when you retire. And as you know, when you look at most countries around the world, a lot of countries are dealing with the aspect of aging individuals and the ability of individuals to contribute to Social Security. So what you find is that because of that, there's a lot of concerns, a lot of things happening around. For example, the government just recently raised the age of retirement for government workers in regards to that whole scenario. So it's the understanding that because of the aging population, less individuals that are having kids to feed the aging population will cause a strain on most governments from a deficit perspective to be able to fund most of Social Security. And that's why you're seeing the changes of the age and moving the age upwards, because one, technology is changing, people are living longer.
Yeah.
With AI, people are going to live much longer. If you do an average of individuals across the world, married man and married woman, a married man would live to about 83, a married woman lived to 86. And when you look at those ages and just based on technology and healthcare getting better and with the introduction of AI, what that means is that individuals are going to live longer. So that's the funding of any Social Security plan becomes very difficult. One, when you're not having kids, a lot of kids. And two, the funding of it is individual age out.
Let's shift gears back up a bit real quickly, because I did ask the audience how many of them basically took financial literacy as part of their schooling. And we've got Sheik Arena said, I never took a financial literacy course. Suzanne Ingham said, no financial stuff. Nicole Walker said, nope, no financial literacy courses were offered. We've got Renee Simmons says, none during my early years. And it is definite need for our children today to have early knowledge of financial literacy. It should be taught in our schools. And we got Michelle White says, no, schools was about getting 11 plus and GCE grades. Family knew about CDs, so I did that, but had to spend it all on university. And what was left went to new home, never recovered financially. With that said, we understand the importance of the role that you play and Freisenbruch plays in educating people, as we're not getting it in the schools, or we didn't get it in schools. What are some common gaps in financial knowledge that Bermudians have about their pensions that they probably should know at earlier ages?
I think what is important from that perspective is making sure that they understand different types of investments, meaning money market investments, bonds, and stocks, and understanding the difference and how they work. I think the literacy part is normal across the world because most countries in the world do not teach financial literacy in schools. And that's always been a big ask from most financial institutions and most financial companies in regards to, hey, we need this as something to get into schools. But to refer back to that question that you asked, I think what it is for Bermudians to know and to understand is start asking questions and trying to understand from the individuals that offer them investments, how they work, what does it do for them, and help them to understand how the market works. I guess in life, we're all driven by what we learn. And, you know, we were always told by our parents in the past, it's better to keep your money at home because it's safer. In reality, that is not. Because one thing I always say to individuals when I have conversations with them is the importance of beating inflation. Okay. If your money is not beating inflation, you're actually losing money on a daily basis because you cannot purchase the same goods 5 years ago that you can purchase now with $100. And now everyone feels that pain when you go to the supermarket. If you go to the supermarket with $100 to buy groceries, say about 5 or 10 years ago, you come out with 3 or 4 bags. Nowadays, if you come out with one bag, 1.5 bags, you're lucky for that $100. So from that perspective, understanding how your money is working for you, it becomes important. And then, you know, one of the most important things is then compounding interest. The earlier you start, the more you will have.
Indeed. I want to shift gears a bit. And audience, if you have any questions or comments, we'll get to you in a bit. So keep your comments and questions coming. We'll get to you in a bit. Shift gears to life insurance. How does life insurance fit into a person's financial literacy journey?
I would say to you, there's a lot of misnomers about life insurance and what it does and how it works. And, you know, from a lot of conversations with Bermudians is that, oh, I am just giving my money away. I don't get anything back. Those comments are seem to be a norm in regards to when you're having conversations with individuals. And in the process as a certified financial planner, it's important for me to explain to them how that product works. What I'll say, why it becomes important is because, you know, as I ask questions, and one of the questions that I always ask, which is quite funny, to each individual, and I ask you that same question, look for your response. What is your biggest asset? Jamel, what's your biggest asset?
My company.
Yeah. And that's the first thing that everyone says. The reality of it, your company is not your biggest asset. And the reason to that, you are your biggest asset. You point to it because I will say to you, I'll say 80% of people are underinsured.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, over the next, I'm not sure how old you are.
I'm in my 40s. Yeah.
Okay. So you have another 25 years or so of working. Potentially, or longer, if you choose. If you choose.
I was planning on retiring at 40. That didn't happen.
Well, hey, it can happen if you plan it right. I'll say that to you.
This is true.
But again, saying you have another 20 years of working or however long you sit, the query becomes how much money you will make over that period of time.
Right.
So in reality, the money you'll make over that period of time will be more than any asset you have, your company, whatever it is, usually in regards to what you do, because you drive your company usually. Without you, that money disappears. So, as individuals think about, insuring myself is too expensive, stuff like that. It's not that expensive. And chances are, I will say to you, 95% of people only need term insurance. This is cheaper.
Interesting.
Hopefully that answers your question.
I think it does. I'm grateful for you. I really am, because I knew the answer would probably be me, but I think most people would say my company or my house or so on.
Yeah.
I literally just had this conversation with someone about whether a house is an asset or a liability. That has nothing to do with today's topic, but if you want to answer that, please feel free as an expert.
Yeah. The interesting part about that, a house is actually an asset. What I'll say that I see that happens is that the understanding of how you use it as an asset is misunderstood. Because one of the errors I see a lot of individuals make is that they're constantly trying to pay off their house as soon as possible and not investing in the return or investing on the opposite side. So when you think about it from a financial planning perspective, it's important for you to be winning on more than one asset. And one of the big things that I've seen in Bermuda from a lot of individuals is that they're house rich and cash poor when they retire, which creates a whole lot of problems in retirement. One, because you have an asset that is potentially growing at 2 or 3% a year, but you can't have access to those funds because it's locked into a house. So it's important from a planning perspective to manage how you pay your mortgage along with how you invest and make sure you're winning on both sides versus getting to a point where you're house rich and then cash poor. Hopefully that answers the question.
I think so. I like the way you answered that as well, because it was an example, and I don't want to take too much time, but I know it's an example of the Lakers were recently sold. I think it was like 10 billion. And people start comparing, well, the Boss family bought it for this amount in this year and selling it for 10 billion. That's a great turn. But had they invested that money instead of taking the team, they would have actually had this amount. Like, it was an interesting thing. If I find it, I'll not only send it to you, Karl, but I'll share it with the audience. But it was on LinkedIn, which you all know I love to learn and read my articles on there. But it made me think of the house versus investing.
And that's an interesting comment, because then that's a compounded interest and looking at how much that house is growing on a yearly basis. And then look at the stock market and saying to you, how much did the stock market grow over that same period of time?
You're gonna have
and usually the stock market usually wins because of how you calculate it. And one of the things that I learned years ago, and this was when I was working in private banking, I always talk about the importance of using other people's money to get rich. And that becomes borrowing money. And it comes down to investing money. For example, when you think about it, if you have all the value stock in your house is free and clear, that's money that is sitting there that's only growing at 2 or 3% based on the values of how much the properties are going up every year. Versus when you look at the stock market, you kind of have an idea, hey, the stock market may have grown by, I think this year it's sitting close to, I think, 15% this year, if you were in the Dow Jones. So from that perspective, just in a debt fund, so that perspective, I mean, getting 3% in my house makes more sense, or does it make more sense where I'm getting 15%? Because what you're then looking at, your mortgage may be 6%, but in the investment portfolio, you're making 15%. Where's your return greater? You're making 8% more money in your pocket versus paying off your mortgage. So it always becomes a deeper conversation in looking at what you're doing from a financial perspective to make sure what is best for you from a planning perspective and from an investing perspective.
I'm in awe. You all can see my face. I love having these conversations because I always say I'm not an expert at any of this stuff. I facilitate, so I have to read and understand. But when I have these conversations, I've actually said to people, I'm like, if it's about a legacy and passing something on, you know that investing in the market, which I'm not an expert at, will probably give you more to provide to your family after, because Sheikah Rana makes a great point here. And it made me think of a conversation I had last week, Karl. Had a conversation with someone and they said, look, a conversation that's not had in Bermuda is we were always taught, you buy a house, you pass it on, you have a homestead. But he said, what's lost is a lot of families are struggling to keep their houses together. Like renovations cost money and so on, right? And Sheikah Rana makes a great point. It's just like, so if your house rich and cash poor, you could end up needing to sell the house. I don't think Karl's here to scare anyone. Let me be very clear.
It's not about scaring anyone from that perspective. It's about understanding and how you make a plan to manage all of these scenarios. And I would say to you, by asking the correct questions and understanding financial instruments and managing it appropriately, all these problems that we do have and thoughts we do have can be solved. It is not about you can't do it. Everyone have a different plan in regards to what they do in retirement. And one of the questions I deal with on a regular basis is people walk in and say, hey, Karl, can you tell me how much I need for retirement?
Yeah.
And that's always a great question. And my comment always to them is, I can't guide you without your help. What does retirement look like to you? Because Jamel, as you said, you want to retire at 40.
Yep.
I wanted to retire at 45. I did, but then I got back into financing because I got a little bit bored. So for me, it's also about asking individuals, what is your dream and goals in regards to retirement? And I can only guide an individual on how to get there. Yeah. You will always have to action it. So in regards to literacy, what I'm trying to enlighten Bermudians are, you have control. You need to ask questions to help you get there. So for example, a lot of people don't understand their mortgage. Yeah. Can they make extra payments on it or not? 2, do you look at your portfolio? Do you know the return is giving you? Next thing, it becomes very, very important. I always ask, okay, what is your budget in retirement? What does that look like? What is it you are looking to do in retirement? That way I can kind of guesstimate potentially how much money you will need to give you an idea of what you do to get there. So it's not about scaring. It's not about saying, hey, you can't get there. It's a big struggle. It's about the steps you take in order to get there and asking correct questions of whoever is advising you or whoever's products you're getting to give you information to help you achieve your goals.
Indeed, Karl. And what can people do to improve their financial literacy when it comes to these long-term products?
Again, everyone's on the internet. Just getting good information out there that assists you. I would say at Freisenbruch here, we do offer to most of our companies that we have on board the ability where we come in and present to the employees. So if you have a Freisenbruch pension plan, please reach out to your HR to ask us to come in. What we're doing here at Freisenbruch, I think on a quarterly basis, we do presentations out to the public every 6 months or so. I did one back in April. I think I'm about to do one again in November, so I'll go for that. And again, drop into Freisenbruch. Any of our advisors here are free to sit down with you and talk to you about your pension or about life insurance.
right. Let's go to the audience. Got quite a few questions and comments, Karl. We've got Philip Trott. He's asking, he says, I have 2 very young children. How can I best set them up for financial success in terms of financial education as well as investing?
I'll say one thing is important, Philip, is that one of the things that I think is important is parents need to include their kids in financial conversations, in teaching them the budgeting piece as part of the beginning. Okay. And the reason I say that, because budgeting was one of the most important things that someone can learn. And from a lot of successful families who I find are very wealthy, what I have learned is that they have taught their kids about budgeting and finances from the time they were young. So how I would say you help your kids on financial literacy, again, when you go in and you come in, talk to me or someone in the office, bring them in with you if you have a chance. Have them listen from young. I have no problem in coming out and doing financial literacy to your schools, so just ask them to reach out to me. Again, I'm here to help Bermudians. I'm here to educate Bermudians, and whatever I can do to help you, please reach out and I will find a way to assist you in learning financial literacy programs. And you just gave me a very good idea. I think I will make it essence of myself to have a financial literacy course for kids on a weekend.
I like that. See, look what you're doing, Phil. Helping us come up with ideas. Emily Gail Dill's asking, she says, well, when we were in elementary school, they stressed the importance of savings. Each child had a savings account. Let's talk about how this conversation's changed, Karl, because again, I shared this story many years ago when we started this show. I've shared it a couple of times that a friend of mine, when I was in New York working, went to do her daughter's taxes, and the tax man was like, what is your daughter going to do with this money? So, oh, put it in her savings, right? Her tax man said, why are we the only ones that are still putting things in savings accounts and not investing our money, right? How has the conversation changed? Because I'm sure, not to age Emily Gail Dill, not sure how old she is, but I'm sure, at least my time or prior, she was in school, but the conversation was savings accounts then. How do we change the language? Because savings accounts don't do much for us anymore. I mean, if anything.
And that's a very, very good question. I think, is education about a little bit more about investing and the difference between a savings account, a difference between bonds, and a difference between equities. I think what we lack throughout many years, a lot of us were not, how can I say, open to learning about the stock market because we've always heard the negative stuff. And unfortunately, I would say to you, the news are always about selling papers and bringing people viewership. So they're always showing the negative and have not showed the positive of it. So education of individuals around the different investment tools is important. I think what I'm seeing that is pretty interesting is that there are now a couple of organizations. I was at the Financial Literacy Conference recently that are out there educating individuals through different programs. I think what is important is I also had a conversation with some individuals where I've been told that it's now in schools, in some schools, but it's not mandatory. So it is about, getting to the government to make sure that they make that part of the normal curriculum, and making it mandatory is important. I know the CFA is doing some educational literacy at Bermuda College that individuals have access to. So there are a lot of good things happening in Bermuda. I just think individuals don't know enough about what is happening in Bermuda around financial literacy. So when you did ask the question about savings accounts, yes, because that's a simple way that was taught in schools way back. Saving, which is important, but how you save becomes more, how can I say, beneficial and important to you if you understand the difference between in a savings account and in the stock market.
Indeed. Another question from the audience. We've got Michael Daniels asking, what is the best way of mitigating for the unexpected?
And the best way for doing that is having what is called an emergency fund and budgeting appropriately. I know you mentioned earlier that a lot of individuals, when they own a home, stuff like that, they always run into trouble when repairs are needed. And these are things that when you own a home, when you own a car, should be included in your budget. So what I'll say to individuals is about budgeting appropriately to meet any need. So from a financial planning perspective, one of the things we always talk about with individual is building an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses.
Gotcha. Okay. We've got Tanya Cheeseman's asks, what is your view on structured products?
That's a very big question because structured products is a massive question because there's so many different structured products in regards to what you can receive. It is a hard question for me to answer. It all depends on how that product fits in to your diversification in your portfolio. Because structured products could be tons of different things. So if she can elaborate in regards to what she means as a structured product, that would be helpful.
Okay. We've got Shikarina. She says, I honestly didn't know anything about investing in my early 20s. I just listened to friends and then got an advisor. And with that said, Karl, how can we encourage the next generation of Bermudians to take pensions and life insurance seriously as a part of financial literacy?
I would say to you is the education of how investments work will help them understand the importance of starting early. I think one of the things I always say, I wish I knew in my 20s in the importance of starting investing early and how much it affects the growth of your portfolio versus starting later. As you talk about houses and people focusing on paying off their mortgage, earlier, that is a part of why starting early becomes important. I'll give you an example. I may not be right by numbers, but I can give you an example. You have an individual started contributing $100 at 20. That person potentially by the age of, and do it weekly, that person or monthly, that person by the age of 65 will potentially have about $1 million. The longer you wait to invest, the more you will have to put in to achieve that $1 million. And that's the importance in starting early, dollar cost averaging into the market, which is when you do it monthly earlier, and what it means for you in your pocket financially long term if invested appropriately.
Karl, just remind people before you head out how they can get in touch with you and your colleagues. The information has been floating at the bottom of the screen, but just remind them when you're available. If they reach out, can't get you, just let them know, because I think some people need your assistance.
Yes, I'm here at Freisenbruch 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Always available to help. I even work on evenings, depending on the client's situation and trying to help them. I'm free here to do any presentations you'd like to what other groups you like. And us at Freisenbruch are here to help and educate Bermudians. So reach out to us and we are here to assist you in everywhere possible.
Karl, thank you for doing this. And again, we love the fact that we can just go off and talk about like homes versus stock and homes and stock. These conversations were not normal when I was growing up, and that's just the reality. Again, I always shared that my mother worked at Argus, so that's why I knew a bit about pension. But had she not, I wouldn't have known. Like I was old enough to remember her working there and speaking to me as a child, whereas my sister under me doesn't. Like she wasn't around then. So I love these conversations. Like I I find myself even wanting to cut you off, say yes, yes, yes. Like it's you're saying stuff that I having conversations with people as a person, just a random person, not a person who has studied this or an expert at this. Yeah. I tell people when it came to finances, I had a tutor right up until I finished my MBA. I'm a talker. I'm not a numbers guy. So I appreciate so much when you and your colleagues come on and have these most important community conversations and engage live with us. So thank you so much. And I really, really look forward to continuing these most helpful conversations in the near future.
And thank you for having me on. And thank you, Bermudians, for choosing Freisenbruch.
All right. Talk to you soon, Karl. Have a great day.
Have a great day.
All right. Karl Smith, folks, if you appreciated that conversation, do us a favor. Make sure as many people as you know have access to these important community conversations. If you're streaming with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, or Instagram, give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We're going to take a quick break. After this break, we'll do the daily play and we'll wrap it up and send you on your way to enjoy what is going to be a beautiful Tuesday for all.
Considering the increasing challenges faced by financial institutions, the need for insurance protection is a critical component of the risk management framework. At Freisenbruch, our priority is to safeguard your assets with the most optimal, cost-effective risk management cover to help protect your business, whether it be cyber, directors and officer liability, professional indemnity, or property insurance. Call us on 296-3600 to learn more about our full suite of competitive corporate insurance products. At Freisenbruch, we provide insurance you can count on.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC. Bermuda business starts here.
For over 70 years, Bermuda Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses island-wide. We offer a full suite of services, including rodent control, termite fumigation, and general insect control and maintenance. Our team of experts will quickly and efficiently eliminate any pest problem you may have. With Bermuda Pest Control, you can enjoy a pest-free home in no time. We're committed to providing fast, reliable, and solution-driven services for our customers. It's what we've been doing since 1952. Call Bermuda Pest Control today and say goodbye to pests for good.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Novazoc Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
PALS is a cancer care charity. We started 45 years ago. What started as a charity with a half-time nurse, and basically just assisting patients going home from the hospital, but patients dying at home. We now, 45 years later, have 6 nurses, a social worker, and a palliative care physician. I know a lot of people that watch the Daily Hour every day, so it's just educational. It helps you know more about specific charities or specific organizations, and kind of get the nitty gritty as opposed to just seeing a flyer on social media or just hearing or seeing a commercial. I think it's more beneficial. Like if I'm on the radio or on TV, I'm just like telling you what I think you want to know, but you might have specific questions that I can answer directly. I think it's much better having the live engagement.
All righty, welcome back to the Big Show. Thanks again to Karl Smith and everyone at Freisenbruch who has continued to provide us with education and information on a regular basis. So appreciate them. Again, folks, if you're streaming with us, there's way too many of you tuned in to not ensure that you're doing your part to make sure we beat the algorithm and your family, friends, and the greater community have access to these important community conversations. So again, if you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, or Instagram, give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, your family, your colleagues, repost it if need be. But also want to give a big shout out and thanks to the BAC Group for Companies, Medical Office Lenders, People's Pharmacy, and HSBC for ensuring that we can have these conversations with you on a regular basis. Folks, it is time for the Daily Play brought to you by Bermuda Trivia. Now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, it is a Remember When today, and here is the question. Everyone, I'm sure, watched Sesame Street, right? What year did Sesame Street premiere? Not 1974, Mark Arthur C. Phillips. It's not 1975, Anika DeShields. It's not 1970, Sheikah Rayner or Renee Simmons, but it is 1969, Stacey Ann Brown. There you go. The question, Anika DeShields, is what year did Sesame Street premiere? The answer is 1969. Everyone pretty much said the 70s, though. 69, yeah, 1969. Now, let me know, who was your favorite character on Sesame Street? Who was your favorite character on Sesame Street? I'll tell you who mine was. Oscar the Grouch. That was my favorite character. Oscar the Grouch. Yeah. Elmo, he was so happy. You know, Elmo and I got in a fight on social media earlier this year. Yeah, I forget what happened, but it's something to do with like sports where something must have happened and he was being all friendly. I'm like, this is sports. This is not time to be friendly, Elmo. Like, keep that stuff on Sesame Street. See, Tanya, like me, Oscar the Grouch. That was my guy. Yeah, see, she can, because people just think, oh, you're grouchy anyway. No. Oscar was a character. Miss Ellen Kate Horton says, Big Bird. All right. Suzanne Ingham says, Big Bird, Oscar, Cookie Monster. Yeah, Cookie Monster. He was something, that fella. All right, folks, let's wrap it up. Final thoughts on this morning's discussion regarding Amazon Prime Day and how Bermudian retailers and Bermuda can better compete. I think an education awareness campaign could do wonders. Drill it down in the Bermudian people. And as I said earlier, get Bermudians to truly and fully understand that shopping local builds economic patriotism, a sense that we're all part of Bermuda's future. But to do that, we must find out why Bermudians are not shopping locally and respond to those reasons to get them to shop locally. As far as the conversation with Karl, I love these conversations with the folks at Freisenbruch. Like, I appreciate them. And I know you all probably think, oh man, another conversation about life insurance or pensions. Here's the crazy thing. Every conversation, we learn something differently. We learn something different. And it's so many things that we still don't know. I appreciate that this forum is a space where we can ask questions and be vulnerable in asking questions about things we don't know. I think it's a valid question today. Does it make more sense to buy a home that once you retire, you have no cash and don't even have the money to keep the home up and put yourself in a position where you may have to sell it to, have shelter and survive? Or does it make more sense to invest first I mean, everyone's situation is going to be different. And that's, I think, the message from Melanie, from Keyshawn, from Karl. It's really everyone's situation is different. That's why it's important for everyone to reach out. Seriously, just reach out. Here's your daily inspiration. I'll leave you with this because someone mentioned it the other day or today. But remember when we were young, Mama said, save it for a rainy day. Well, based on these continuous conversations with the great folks at Freisenbruch, I'm going to tell you, invest it for a better day or days ahead. Folks, we've got to run. We've got to get out of here. But before we head out, I just want to tell you, do not forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves on Hot 107.5 with these most important community conversations. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.